Okay, I want to take a second to go through how to find the mean and standard deviation of a data set using either Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. So I've gone ahead and I just generated a data set of 100 numbers, and I want to find the mean and standard deviation of these. Now I could add all of these up and divide by 100 because there are 100 numbers here, but that would take a really long time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to use technology to calculate those values easily. First, I'm going to show how to do this in Excel, and then I will follow with an example for Google Sheets in the same video. You're welcome to use either piece of technology. I find that Microsoft Excel is the easiest just because it works as a desktop app, but again, for what we're doing for this course, I believe that either would be fine. So I'm going to just go ahead and highlight all of my data in my data set, and I'm going to copy that. And then I'm going to go to my Excel workbook, and then I'm going to go ahead and paste that data in. Now, it might be necessary, okay, so this is actually the number 100. Even though we see those pound signs here, we can identify that that is the number 100. I'm not really sure why it's showing stars there. It must be due to the formatting. I think when the numbers get too close, it shows just a pound sign for that being a number, but we do see that that is the number 100. So now what we want to do here is we want to actually calculate the average of this whole data set, right? The average is the same thing as the mean. So I'm going to set up I'm just going to type average here, and then next to it I'm going to actually calculate the average, or the mean. I guess we should call this the mean because that's what we're referring to in class. So the mean of this data set, and then this is really important, up in this equal sign, or up in the function bar right here, I'm going to start with an equal sign, and then I'm going to type in average. And then I have to tell the function what am I finding the average for. So I'm going to open a parentheses, and then I'm just going to click and highlight all of these cells right here. And you can see that it is telling me we're going to calculate the average of A1 through E20. And it highlights all of the things that I want to find an average for. I close my parentheses, and then I hit enter. And it tells me that the mean or average of this data set is 48.26. The next thing I need to find is the standard deviation. And so I'm going to make standard deviation. If you look, it runs a little bit into where I want to actually put the standard deviation. So on this column H, I'm actually going to move this over a little bit so that I can see the full word. So now I want to calculate the standard deviation. And if I try what I did last time and try typing it in, it says standardized. That's not what I want here, right? I want something else, which is the standard deviation. So I'm going to click on this Insert Function tab, and I'm going to type in standard deviation and see what comes up. And I'm going to scroll down, and it looks like down here in standard deviation, there's a couple different ones. There's standard deviation P. It says calculates the standard deviation of an entire population. Standard deviation S estimates the standard based on a sample. Standard deviation. So the two that we're going to be using in class today are this week are standard deviation.P and standard deviation.S. So the one I want here is I'm going to assume that this is a sample of values. Again, we'll talk about the difference between a sample and a population, but I'm assuming that there are more values out there other than the ones that I have here. So we're going to calculate the standard deviation. And now I'm actually just going to click in here, and I'm going to highlight all of these cells, and then I'm going to press OK. So again, when I click in here, if I look in the standard deviation, you see that it highlights all of the things that I'm going to be finding the standard deviation of. And when I calculate the standard deviation, it's 31.209. So pretty big standard deviation here. So the average of this data set would be 48.26, and the standard deviation would be 31.209. I've already gone about 5 minutes for this video, so I'm going to attach another one where if you want to be using Google Sheets, I'm going to walk through how to find the mean and standard deviation using Google Sheets.